they would not be idle. They would be doing something. So this is a piece of furniture that's an absolute necessity for young ladies in the mid-19th century. This is a work table. It's a sewing table, writing desk. The sewing materials could go down here. And then there's spaces here for pens and inkwells. Because remember, there were not ballpoint pens. People would dip a feather quill or a pen into an inkwell and write. And penmanship was beautiful. I understand children aren't learning to write in script anymore. Is your class writing in script?
Not yet. Usually at the ends of the year. Yeah. When I taught third grade, we would do at the end.
Okay. But, good. So, but this is the downstairs sitting room, and if you stopped by to see Mrs. Bartow, you would be received in a more casual room like this. And think about how small this room is. It would be easier for the family to stay in the smaller rooms because it would be much easier to keep it warm. Because remember, what is our only heat source?
The fireplace.
The fireplace. I'm going to show you one, yes.
What is?
These are bellows.
Oh, for the air.
You know. And I'm going to show you a piece of coal. Today, coal doesn't look like this, but this is a piece of coal that would have been burned in the grate. Pardon me? What? Oh yeah, a bellows, you push it together and you can make the fire bigger by directing some air. So
you're like pushing it?
you are, but I can't pick it up and demonstrate, unfortunately. Because everything that we have in this house is 150 to 200 years old.
Oh, it might break easily.
Right. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you a sad story. We have already learned about the fact the Bartows did not leave living descendants. And who remembers why? Remember we talked about we don't have the Bartows things in this house? Now, they didn't leave descendants. Do you know what a descendant is? We already talked about what an ancestor is. But what's a descendant? Do you know that word? A descendant are people, the children of the Bartows and their children. But the Bartows didn't leave any living relatives because people didn't have the good medical care that we have today. Remember we talked about going to the doctor and getting antibiotics and vaccinations. People didn't have that good medical care in the mid-19th century. So behind your teacher, we have 4 photographs of the youngest Bartow's son and his family. But it's a sad story. The man to the left with the mustache is Theodoret Bartow. He was the youngest Bartow's son. He died in 1891. Now, right next to him is his wife, Sarah Marshall Bartow. She died the very next year of cancer. Cancer. And they had a little girl. The 2 photographs to the right are of their only daughter, Theodora. But when she was 9 years old, she developed appendicitis, and she died too. So it's a very sad story. Today, appendicitis is easily treated. People don't die from appendicitis anymore. So that's a sad story that helps explain why the Bartows didn't leave living descendants or why we don't have their things. But now we're going to talk about something happy. Who likes baseball? Well, some of you like baseball, but all of you know what baseball is. Have you been to Yankee Stadium?
Yes. Yes.
Do you see that little oil painting above the lamp?
That's the Yankee Stadium.
That's the site of the current Yankee Stadium. The Bronx doesn't look like that anymore, does it? No. That's why we're so lucky that we are in Pelham Bay Park and that this house is still standing. Because I feel like I'm in the country. Do you have any questions before we move on? What's your question?
Which one died of cancer?
The mom. The mom died of cancer. And her mother wrote about it in a letter. And her mother, you know, people were used to having people die in their families. But Sarah's mother wrote in a letter that her death was the most painful death she'd ever witnessed. So it's very sad. But now we're going to go do our crafts project. We're